Glenda, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Glenda is a prominent art therapist in Australia, and she is also part of our academic team here at Ikon, and we are very lucky to have Glenda with us as part of our academic team, and we're fortunate to have the time to speak with her today. So welcome and thanks.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your art therapy program across Mongolia?
Okay. So quite a few years ago, I met a group of students through a little bit of work at Flinders University who were undertaking masters on an Australian grant at Flinders University in social work, and they showed a really strong interest in art therapy, primarily I think because traditional forms of counselling and therapy are less well received in Mongolia. So they were really keen for some art therapy training, but of course it wasn't really possible at the time. So fast forward a few years, and I had been obviously working for Ikon and had talked to management about the possibility of doing something with this. And then we agreed that I would manage teaching a postgraduate qualification to these women in Mongolia. Nearly all of it happened online. However, there was lots of video exchange of them practicing things and sending it back and getting feedback. And we had classes, face to face, but online, immediately online, for weeks and weeks and weeks. After 3 years, we've had 3 students graduate, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And what's happened is they've actually gone on to establish a not-for-profit organisation in Mongolia, the very first art therapy association, so the Mongolian Professional Art Therapy Association in the region. And so they are starting to raise funds for and conduct programs in schools and with other not-for-profit organisations and charitable services in Mongolia, which is really exciting.
Very exciting. And maybe give us a little bit of a context of your journey with Ikon and how long you've been a member of the academic team here, and what you would class as your major achievements here at Ikon.
And we just had one little class in South Australia, and we had one little class in Perth and one little class in Brisbane. In fact, I don't think the Brisbane one had actually started when I started with Ikon. And so, my journey with Ikon has been from, those very initial phases when we were working with some fabulous material, but that needed some updating, and that was sort of my primary goal, was to try and update that and bring it into a more contemporary model, which we spent a lot of time doing. We trained lots of art therapists, and that was really rewarding to see the interest and the knowledge base grow. And then I moved into head of school for Ikon for a few years, and that was really wonderful, working really hard on all the framework to try and have Ikon accredited as a higher education training provider, and working on the basic framework for the Bachelor of Arts Psychotherapy, in particular for me. It's been a wonderful journey, watching Ikon go from this tiny little organisation through to something that's really dynamic and forever changing, and seeing our students so excited about what they learn is really wonderful.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we're very fortunate to have you, and I guess I'm curious to know what you think the future of art therapy holds.
Yeah, look, it's a really interesting question, because we've graduated from being like the child in art therapy, and I think we're heading towards the end of the teens, where we've all been a bit rebellious, and art therapy's been a bit scatty, and it's all about the individual. And I think we're starting to move into this mature era where we are looking at how do we define the role. How do we find our place within mainstream mental health services, knowing the incredible value in what we do, but being able to also make sure that translates to modern and evidenced practices. And that's what we need to be able to do. And I see that that's the future, that there will be a lot more research, there will be a lot more clarity in our role and scope of practice, and that as art therapists we will step into our professionalism more in the future.
Thanks for joining us today, Glenda.
That's right, thank you, Leanne.
Thanks for joining us today, Glenda and Lele. Part of Glenda's teaching for the ongoing development of art therapy in Mongolia includes having some students from Mongolia here at our campuses at Ikon, and this week we're very fortunate to have Lele with us. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yes, sure. My name is Namjo, and you can just call me Lele. And now I'm studying at Flanders, Master of Social Work, and besides that, I'm really interested in art therapy, and when I come back to Mongolia, I want to contribute myself in order to develop art therapy in Mongolia. So that's why I stand with her today.
Oh, lovely. And tell us a little bit about what you were learning in the class this week.
Yeah, that was some sort of new experience for me, and also, I really appreciate her teaching method, and I really, I used to work as a social worker in Mongolia, and it seems like some sort of similar things, but it's completely different new experience. Yeah.
Great. And how have you found education to be different in Australia versus Mongolia?
Yeah, I would say in Mongolia it's usually lack of hands-on experience, but in Australia it is more self-study and more push ourselves to how can we do when we
That's okay. When you're with a client?
Yes, when we're with a client and in real world, preparing the real world, and also especially this week lesson, it's all kind of participation and not just sitting down and listening. So it's the sort of thing we never forget, and because we involve this, and so that's why I'm saying it's very useful and new experience.
Thanks for joining us today, Lele.
Thanks for
Thank you.